Welcome to the Listen to Your Footsteps podcast. I'm your host, Kojo Baffoe. My guest today is Letitia Masina, an award-winning creative professional in the television production space. Letitia is currently MD of Wife and Hubby Creative, a mother, a partner, and the spouse of a guest, a previous guest from this show. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Kojo.
So Letitia and I worked together many, many moons ago, so it's going to be interesting. But let's start. So you're from the Northwest originally, right? Where in the Northwest?
Where do I start? So I grew up in a village. I'm a village girl in a place called Sira.
Okay.
It's in a district called Madikwe, very rural. I think they only just got tar road not like a few years ago. And even that's just the main street. It's not even into the yards or anything like that. And then I moved to a place called Mokwasem, like in my teenage years. That's near Sun City.
Okay.
Before going to boarding school and then coming to Joburg. Yeah.
What brought you to Joburg?
Boarding school. Because it was my mom and I, and she got this job where now she was traveling the world and I was always home. So after 6 months being home, literally alone, but we didn't tell the neighbors or anybody. So nobody really knew I was living alone. But as a 13-year-old living alone, I probably should be locked up if people knew.
But you were in the village, so it's...
No. Remember, now I'm living in Mokwase, which is near Sun City. It's more like I don't want to really call it a township, but it was a new development where most of the people that worked in Sun City lived there.
Yeah.
Where the houses look the same. It's almost like townhouses, but it's not really. Those kind of establishments. And so obviously when she realized, okay, obviously we can't live like that, she enrolled me in a boarding school in Joburg. And that's how I came to Joburg.
And then you never left?
I guess, because now, remember the people you meet at that age are the people you're going to end up working with. The interests are what you end up doing. So yeah, I wasn't going to get that in a rural place somewhere in Northwest. Yeah.
Do you go back?
I used to a lot, but now it's more like once a year or when there's like a funeral. No, because...
What does it feel like? Kind of going back, especially as time goes. I didn't go to Masuru for a long time. And then I went earlier on this year. And I went 2 years ago. But I'm still getting my head around, how things change.
Yeah.
And how a space that you felt very much a part of.
Yeah.
I mean, even even my first 10, 15 years in Joburg, I'd go home and it still feel like home. And I'd still feel a part of the society, part of something. Now I feel anonymous, even though I have I have one or two people.
Yeah.
But there's whole new generations now, living and running things.
I know. I mean, I when I do go back, I don't know anybody. I don't know anyone. I don't even think they're just looking at me, the lady with the pink hair or red hair or green hair, whichever hair I have. And I can tell that they're just looking because it's a strange thing. It's not like they recognize me or anything like that. Now I just go for my uncles. That's what I go for, But it's weird because I go back and then I go with my kids, and for them it's like, oh, Barazons. Where are we? It's either sometimes it's fascinating because there's animals, there's livestock, and there's the whole thing of, believe it or not, just having a lot of soil around you. Because we live in the concrete jungle, that and grass. My kids hardly step on soil, just soil. It's grass, pavement, car. Until we go to those places or we are on vacation. It's actually crazy. I made a mental note one day and I was like, God, this yard has nothing but grass and pavement. And then they get into the car and then they're at the mall.
And ironically, we live in, the the one advantage is that we live in, I think, the most treed city in the world. So at least they get some element of nature.
Oh yeah, my yard is full of trees. My dad, and then my granddad on my mom's side, they had green fingers, and I picked that up from them. And I do have like my own vegetable patch, and I do love green. So at least my yard has that. It has a lot of trees.
Did the kids ever climb the trees?
No, no, my kids are not those kids. Unfortunately, they're not me. They're their dad. They are not me.
I mean, I had a moment
Yeah.
when when my kids were younger, especially my son.
Yeah.
We lived in a complex, and there was a tree on the corner. It was just a great climbing tree. Because I grew up in Maseru next to a river. So there were just trees.
Yeah.
And then the garden, we had peach trees. I used to climb in the middle with where all the leaves were.
Yeah.
And hide, and because I was were told you can't take the peaches because they must be canned.
Oh.
So I used to climb in the middle where you couldn't see me. But I grew up climbing trees. And there was this tree, and I was like, it was the perfect climbing tree for like a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
And I had to go, no, guys, climb the tree.
You must have thought you were
go
mad.
this branch, that branch. And that's one of the things I kind of sit and look at them and go, oh, they never, I still look at a tree now and go, oh, that's a climbable. I won't do it. I'll hurt myself.
I think once you're over 40, you just you make
It's like
calculated decisions.
Yeah, I'll hurt myself, but I know what looks like a good climbable tree.
I also used to climb trees. We had orange trees, though. Yeah, and I climbed all the time. And I was also told not to have, but we could have the oranges, but they would say that we mustn't have a lot. But I never used to listen. I would mulberry tree, oranges, I'd eat them all the time, but I didn't know the berries would dye my face. Because I don't know, did we even have a mirror at home? I just know I didn't know how my grandma knew all the time that I had. But in hindsight, obviously, I mean, it tints your lips, your tongue. But I was like, I didn't have some. And then she'd just be like, how does this woman know, But it's crazy because for a long time, I also used to be that person that used to climb trees, even into my teenage years. But yeah, no, my kids are not. I don't even think they've ever climbed a tree. I'm going to ask them. Maybe they have without me. I don't know. Yeah, at the camps.
Okay.
Probably
Yeah. And that kind of says.
Thank goodness for such.
But also that says everything, right? It's like the only time our children would do certain things is like, no, you're going in a camp now, and as part of being at camp, these are the things that you do. I mean, I look at my children and kind of go, like you're saying. I remember going to when my daughter was maybe 3-4 years old, and being in Lesotho and walking up the road in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it was a dirt road to get up to the tar road. But there were 2 horses off on the side, and then there's cows because our neighbors, and we're in the middle of the city.
Oh.
So we're not in a rural area. This is just this neighborhood in the city. Because there's grass, not everything is, not everywhere is developed. So like our neighbor had a horse, and then they'll take the horse and they'll tether him just up the road, and the horse is just there. And that fascinated her to no end. And it was always important for me, for my children to experience that space, to get a sense of how I grew up.
Yeah.
Because they are Joburg kids.
Yeah.
They're Joburg
City kids.
They're Joburg born and raised. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but for them to understand where their parents come from, for me was important, to give an element of perspective.
Yeah.
To understand that, okay, when you're a Joburg person, this is the lifestyle, but there's more to that than this.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a great thing. it's something I didn't think of. My thing, in terms of trying to get the kids to understand who mom is, was to get them close to the grandparents, to my parents and Fortune's parents, you know. But maybe where I kind of failed was, instead of taking them there, I would bring the grandparents to us.
I didn't
Because
take,
now it's in the stories.
but I
you know
didn't
what
take
mean?
them a lot. So
Yeah.
I
I mean, we did go.
because my
as
father
well.
used to he used to come to
Come here.
Joburg more often.
So
And
it was almost like it's convenient. We're always at work. It's easier to pick them up one weekend, drop them off the next weekend. You know, then they can be there the whole week with the kids, and you get caught up in that. You know, and I'm actually grateful now that before my dad passed away, for a few years before then, we used to go and see him a lot, and he also lived in a village, and at least the kids got to hang with him, got to play with little creatures crawling about. Ugh. But they got to kind of engage him at the level I used to engage him when I was younger. You know, they got to learn how to plant certain vegetables. He woke up very early. When they wake up, they go there. They would even forget their phones for a bit every time we were there, you know. And well, it's nice to know that at least they got that from their Ntate Mogolo, you know.
and also getting to having a relationship. I think there's an importance to having a relationship that's separate from you.
Yes.
So I grew up without my grandparents. Like by the time I was my last grandparent passed away when, like at least before 5.
Oh.
So so my grandparents growing up were, like, I had my grandmother in Lesotho, but it wasn't my parents' parents. So I have like kind of grandparents that I got along the way.
Yeah, it's like an aunt granny.
Yeah.
It's like your grandma's sister or something.
I mean, I have younger siblings, and when my father married their mother in Lesotho, her family became my family.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Nkgono was her mother.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
But I was always grateful that I was able to give my children the space to have a direct relationship with my father. And when he passed, my daughter was the younger one, but they have some memory. They have, that's theirs, separate from me, you know. Whereas other grandparents, you know, like my mother, Estelle's mother, or father in particular, they know them by name, but they don't really know them.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But, you know, I also feel like different people, as we meet them in life, even those that are your family, they impact you differently. And that is also okay. One thing for sure, I don't like forcing relationships or feelings upon other people, you know. But I do me. If I want to spend time with Kojo, I'm going to call him. I'm going to go to wherever he is. If he's like, oh, I'm knocking off at 12, I'm like, okay, let me see you for 30 minutes. I'm going to do what I want to do. Unless you tell me, oh, Tish, no, not today. I'm really, really busy or something like that. Then I'll have the 30-minute call instead. So, I mean, I do that with my kids. I definitely don't parent with that. We are all doing this. We are all doing that. We're all doing this. But I'm also kind of grateful and glad that they entertain those things when I want to do them, you know.
Okay.
When I'm like, okay, we're all going to like Fortune's parents' house. Guys, I'm calling, especially now with the big kids. I mean, I do, the third born is 16 soon. So you can imagine it's 3 big kids that I have, you know. And a 13-year-old has an opinion. He's basically 31.
Yeah.
You know, as much as he's the youngest,
to do these
he's
days,
actually
like...
the most difficult to get out of the house to do anything. So because I'm a planner, it seems to work for me, because I will know already in October, this is what we want to do, in September, in November. So I can schedule all these things I like. And it feels, after a while, once you are in that routine, it feels like I see my kids all the time. Actually, not it feels. I do end up seeing them all the time, even though they are so busy. But you can't be spontaneous anymore. because
I've
there's
never-
many.
I've
I
never-
think if I had one child, it would
I've
be
never
easy.
been a spontaneous person. I'm like, yo, put that thing in the diary. So we have a shared diary for that reason. Because you don't tell me on Friday
Yeah.
that, oh, Saturday we're doing this. No, that doesn't.
It must be interesting because Estelle strikes me as
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
having fun. I'm feeling this today. Let's go.
Yeah. So there's a shared diary.
Yeah.
It's actually funny because now it's gotten to the point where you'll be like, oh, I'm doing this thing on Friday.
Yeah.
And if I look confused, she's like, oh, but didn't you see it? I put it in the diary. Now she's angry with me. Because it's like, no, it's in the diary.
You said all I have to do is put it in the diary.
So I operate, I mean, I guess I'm better.
Yeah.
I'm better in that I don't go anywhere anyway. But yeah, like for me, it must be in the diary. And all the kids' stuff are in the diary.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to get them to have...
To do the same.
Because we have shared calendars, but then
Yes.
they don't use it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then it's like, you have a session
Yeah.
with whoever tomorrow or whatever on Friday. But yeah, no, I'm
I know.
good. I'm good with the planning.
Well, maybe because they still don't have, a lot on their plate. So they can remember these things and they don't see the value maybe. No, it's not.
They have more on their plate than I have on my plate. What are you talking about? You're trying to argue for people who can speak for themselves.
Oh, well, okay.
I mean, like right now we're in the middle of like exams. And then I'll go, you writing tomorrow? Yeah. What are you writing?
What?
And then I'll open my calendar. I'm like, okay, so tomorrow you're writing this. Wednesday you're writing this. Thursday you're writing this. Because your mother put everything there. But yeah, you're talking about kind of like the older ones are now what?
25 soon.
You have grown folk. You have grown
But
folk now.
You know what? I love it. I love being a parent to them. It's the young ones, they're very interesting. The older ones just felt so easy to parent, like really, really, really easy to parent. And I mean, we work together now. They work with me, both of them, So even at work, sometimes people that haven't worked with us, they sometimes can't tell that these are my kids, the way we work together. Everyone knows what they need to do. And the way we speak, it's only when they start saying mom. I'm like, huh? Mom, mama, okay. Who's this guy? Why is he saying this? But I've been on jobs where other people were like ma to me as well, because they thought, oh, that's what maybe she prefers to be called.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now you've got people that are just 5 years younger than me calling me ma. I'm like, yeah, kopana. But then we agreed it's fine. They can call me mom at work. It's fine because I run a family business. And I think the name of the company says it.
Yeah.
Like when you hire us, I come from a very creative family. And if the skills I'm looking for are already in my house and I understand what I'm getting from this person, and I understand that they'll be focused and they'll understand my brief, I'm like, why not? And I have fired family as well, but I believe in building something that whether the kids decide they don't want to go into the media space or whatever later in life, that's okay. They can sell the company and then they can do whatever. Because I also, like I said, don't want to force them to do anything. But they naturally have the skills. They naturally pick it up. It's like when you live in a house and then there's a chef, chances are one or two of the kids will know how to handle. They might not be opening restaurants, but they'll know how to handle themselves in the kitchen. And because we are in a space where we also consume the same content. Like my husband is he does TV as well, but I always feel like he's first a musician. He's first in music. And he consumes that, and he's fascinated by how music is made and all that. And we end up consuming it with him. I love TV. I watch TV. I'm a TV person in terms of at home. On my off day, I'm sitting on the couch. I'm those people, and I'm watching. Most people that make TV, they don't watch it, but I am that. And now our kids they have a little bit of both of us. So if I want to build a set, and I'm thinking, and I'm saying to my 16-year-old, I'm building a set, I'm looking for this feeling. And she already, like so many times, I've taken ideas from her in terms of how the things must look. My eldest son, same thing. He's got that visual eye, and he directs with me, and he directs now by himself. It was so nice to see his name on the clapperboard without me being there, It was a proud moment. And my eldest daughter, she's such a good writer, and it's so beautiful to see like some of her work, or to even hear people saying, "Oh, my intro sounded very nice, thank you." And I know that she researched and wrote that in a way that the person felt like she saw them, but because they have this thing, it's in their genes, because it's from their parents. I don't see why I should make them climb the ladder from the bottom.
Yeah,
and I don't feel bad about it, because I feel like it's what we should be doing, but I know that sometimes people, like, it's shunned upon. It's like, what's the word?
Well, nepotism.
Yeah. But I'm like, this person actually, because I'm getting older, I'm finding that they're refining my knowledge, they're refining my output, and I'm getting compliments because they've taken my basics and they've added a little bit more of today to it. So it makes me look like I'm always at the forefront of anything, because they will tell me, "Oh no, these colors, mom, they whack, or this or that, or no, do it like this, or you want this feeling, let me show you." They have like references for days. So why should I struggle as well? I mean, I feel like life as you get older, it should also be easier. And why not have my kids make my life easy?
And at the same time, I mean, you're giving them valuable experience and valuable tools in a space that's that may be a bit more gentle, a bit more forgiving, not accommodating, total unprofessionalism. Because I've also worked with you, so I know.
No, they know.
But
yeah.
I mean, I grew up working for my father.
Oh.
And that I started working for my father when I was 12.
Yeah.
And right through till I finished university and left university and went home and worked full time for my father. He fired me once because we had an argument. But learning that the standard set for me was higher than everybody else.
That's the thing. And I don't understand why people think it's so easy for them. And I mean, you started when you were 13, and my oldest started, he was in grade 10. He was 15 when he started working with me, or coming to studio, doing little bits of things, doing social media stuff, writing things, to the point where someone could look at him and think, oh, he started directing at such a young age, and he's doing a broadcast show, not doing social media or something like that. And it looks like, oh, it's because his mom owns the company. But the truth is, he's put in the years.
Yeah.
And that's what people sometimes don't see behind the scenes, And that's why I also don't mention when we are in a meeting. I mean, now that we do virtual meetings, people don't see that people look alike. And then you hear a client compliment the work. And then later when they meet, they're like, oh, wow, everyone here is a Masina, And then they move on. It's just the ones, oh, okay. And then because they do love, and then they end up recommending your kids to other people. It goes to show that I'm not just exposing them, but I'm actually I've actually hired the right people for the right positions as well, you know, and they grew into it to a point where I realized sometimes they were doing this before I was even paying them, you know, not pocket money. They did it for a long time. And I agree with you that it's even tougher when you work for your folks, because maybe deep down I didn't even see their value for a while. You know, like where it was like, oh, he's great at this. But the more people compliment them, the more I'm like, oh gosh, I got to put them in an actual budget and budget for them now going forward.
Yeah.
And that also was a lesson on my side. And maybe they were disadvantaged money-wise because of that. They might have gotten the skill, but when they watch this, they're going to be like, Mom, you didn't pay us when we were supposed to get paid.
It's the ramp, right? So it's not even about what you are paying them and whether you're paying them. Like the fact that at some stage you are paying them. I mean, when I started and I was in high school, I didn't earn a salary, but I'd get money.
Yeah.
When I started, like after high school, I was there for like 2 months, and then I went overseas for a year.
Yeah.
When I came back, I worked for 6 months before I went to university, and I had
Still for your dad.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I had a salary. And then when I finished university, I had a job title, I had business cards, I had a salary, I had an office. I was an employee of the company.
Yeah.
It happened to be my father.
Yeah.
I mean, at work, I called him MD because we all called him, the whole staff called him MD. So it was like, you know, MD thing, MD this, MD that, right?
And at home, you call him dad.
At home, he was daddy.
So you switched between the
Yeah.
two.
And for a while, it was just the two of us in the house. So it was the two of us in the house because everybody else was off at school.
Yeah.
It was two of us in the house, and then like we'd leave the house, drive separately to go to the office.
I don't know why I'm laughing. Yes, that's what's happening now as well.
And
yeah.
But it wasn't about what he was paying me. After that, I could have walked into any space, and if I was asked what my experience is, as tends to happen, I could go, I have done these things.
For a while.
Right? So it's not about what you're paying them. So the ramp that you've given them is the perfect ramp for them to go out into the world, and they have experience behind them, and they have knowledge behind them. So it's not just, okay, I was working on these projects for whatever period, but I've learned how to navigate these spaces.
There were deliverables, there were deadlines.
That is the value. And I personally, I agree with you. I don't think there's anything wrong with being able to provide your children with the tools and the access.
Yeah.
You know, so I look at my kids now, and you know, if they wanted whatever they want to do, chances are I know somebody in that space.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what.
No, but like I know someone like you, yeah, definitely.
If, you know, and chances are I know somebody in that space. So it'll be like, oh, you need XYZ. I can talk to somebody.
Yeah.
You still have to walk in the door and deliver.
Of course.
And I still have to feel comfortable that you're not going to go in and mess around.
Yeah.
But there's somebody I can, there's somebody I can phone, there's somebody I can message to go, hey, listen, you want to do production? Hey, Tish, listen, my daughter wants to do XYZ. Do you mind even just to be around a production or whatever it is? So I don't think, I agree with you. Like we work hard to be able to make it a little easier for our children while still holding them accountable.
Yeah. The other thing at the same time is that I feel I aim, let me say, to do the same for anyone that walks through my office door. I've always believed, even when I was not running my own company, but I've always believed that if you're coming in at a certain level, by the time you leave, you need to be at another level. I was never really interested in people that are going to become interns forever, PAs forever, production assistants forever, production coordinator forever. Why are you not aiming to be production manager, line producer one day? What's the highest in that? Why are you coming in? You're a researcher. Why are you not aiming to be a content producer one day? Do you know what I mean? And that's always been my thing. And even when I hire the highly experienced or the management role, I always looked for people that were willing to teach. I find that those people are even more pleasant to work with because they have the patience. There's something about a teaching bone, if I should call it. Those people, without actually, they might be strict, they might be known for all sorts of things, but they have a patience to explain, which is the perfect ground for those people that I hire that are coming up. Because if you're working with someone that's going to say, I do not like this, I've told you I needed this, these are the ways that maybe you could have gotten here, or have you looked in different ways to get here? Why didn't you call me if you were stuck? Like people that are willing to, do you know what I mean? Because then other people are just like, oh, incompetent child. I can't work like this. And they are the ones coming to my office. I'm glad that I haven't found myself in that situation. I think I've probably found myself in it once in my life. But somehow there's a way when you're sitting across from someone that you can feel that we vibrate at the same wavelength here. And you might be coming from for a different position. I don't know. The skill you have is not my skill, but I can tell that you will fit in the space. Everywhere I've kind of worked where I was in a position to hire, people always say it's such a lovely space to work in.
I mean, I was thinking about before, in the lead up to us having this conversation, I was thinking about the people that have come up under you. Like a lot of people would never realize. And I kind of, I won't say names, but I'll meet them. And you look at what they've done. Yeah. And you look at where they are. And it's like, I was an intern, or I was a production assistant at Bungwe or at Republic in 2005. And you're looking at them now and the things that they're doing and the foundation behind it. Yeah. So one of the things that's always fascinated me about you, which is, I want to ask, so how do you end up behind the scenes? Because I know also you modeled at some stage, and that feels like the pipeline is, model, do some acting, presenting, so staying in front of the camera. Yeah. But from when I met you, you've been the person behind the scenes. How do you get there?
I think because I liked the making of things, and I'm not gonna lie, the on-screen things were easier for me to access. Okay. Because I didn't study anything in this space that I'm in now. I didn't study anything in this space. So because I used to do a lot of plays at school, I was always that kid when there's some sort of an event at school, I was going to be on stage, whether it's modeling some clothes or whatever. So when I got out of school, it was easy to gravitate to that space again. Easy money, But then I would quickly get bored. I remember when I was modeling and then now I was at my peak and then my agency was thinking of sending me overseas, and I was thinking, firstly, I love South Africa. I love it. Every time I leave the country, I'm like, okay, when I'm looking forward to coming back. I actually love my country. So the thought of living somewhere else was like, I'm not one of those people that want to live elsewhere. I'll travel in the country, maybe live in other provinces. But when modeling got to a point where because you gotta grow. When I was being forced, I felt, okay, no. So that I don't disappoint them, let me just shift sideways and go into presenting. That became the next thing. Then, because I love TV, then I got a job I was presenting Mamepe. I think we were the presenters that came after Connie, because they were the ones that started the show. Yeah, and when I was there, I was now interested in telling the story, because now I'm presenting, showcasing the story. But then I'll tell the directors, oh, what if I do the interview here? No, let's do a walk and talk interview. Or let's do, when I was reading the research, I saw this person is interested in this. Why not go do the interview here? And then what I didn't realize was that they were then telling the executive producers. So luckily I worked with people that didn't hog the compliments. So when they would get compliments on, oh, nice spotting by doing this like this, and they'll say, oh, it was actually Letitia. So after a few of those, I was called in and they were like, okay, you got to do your story. And so I actually started directing content by directing myself, which is apparently difficult, but you know when you don't know. Because I didn't know. So I was like, okay, what am I going to do? Okay, and I just went into it easily. And I only realized later that actually is quite a skill. But because I didn't have anything to compare it to, I just thought, okay, I've been presenting. Now I must tell my own story. I must do the research. And back in the days when you were a content producer, you edited your own work. I mean, today people are having it easy. These titles, they don't mean the same as before. I mean, I offlined literally with analog my own content. The only thing I didn't do was online and final mix. But the story was told. I would curse myself for not picking up a certain transitioning shot, but it became my problem, which I think is accelerated my knowledge of directing and telling a story better, because when you are struggling at the post-production level, already you know what to do better. By your third story, you're actually quite a good producer because you've learned your errors.
And the fact that you are presenting it as well, you get to know
yourself.
You critique yourself, but you don't only get to see, you get to feel what it looks like. Because I'm thinking about, like, I've sat, you're viewing an episode. It's still an external thing, right? So, why did the person present it like that?
Yeah.
If I'm gonna critique it, I'm critiquing it, kind of watching it from the outside in, right?
Yeah.
You have done it, and so you have the answer to why you did it that way.
Yeah.
Because you were that side first.
Yeah. But because I can be at the end part of the story as well, I improve faster in making sure that the beginning is the correct beginning, if I should say so.
Yeah.
So then I went from presenting, and then I went back to acting, because acting is what I had done at primary and middle school and high school.
Okay.
Every year I was in one of those plays, whether it was me who wrote it or I'm on stage. So then I did a bit of backstage. I loved it, but I had to leave backstage, and I think that's when I left being in front of the screen, because my grandma-in-law, that's such a word, my grandma-in-law wasn't really pleased about the kissing scenes. So I chose peace. I looked at it and I was like, I love acting. I mean, I really did like the whole getting into character. And I remember when I did my audition, the casting director, she said she knew the minute she said there was a girl that walked in and then there was a character when she started reading opposite me. And she was like, she hadn't seen that in a while at the time. And I mean, I do miss it. And I think I would go back, but obviously now I can't play a love interest.
Well, I mean, there's a space for us older ones. And I also find, I think you're at a space and a stage where to think about some of those things as things that you enjoy doing and to create space for them, for you, not for I'm trying to build a career or I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. Because we're talking about, as we're talking about our kids and helping them access spaces.
Yeah.
I am finding that this world, which is their world now, it's changing my thinking. And what I mean by that is, just like I think they can pursue any career they want to pursue, and it's not as rigid as maybe it used to be.
Yeah.
I'm also allowed to try things.
That's true.
That are not necessarily how I make a living. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, this experience, this conversation is me trying something. So this podcast is me going, I've always wanted to have a podcast. I'd always been thinking about it. I have multiple documents because you know me, 1 page, 2 pages. I have multiple documents.
Yeah.
And when the suggestion arose and the opportunity arose when my book was coming out, I was like, actually, do you know what? I'm going to start the podcast.
Yeah.
And I still couldn't tell you what the end goal is because I started the podcast because I've always been fascinated I've always been fascinated by the space. So in the same way, like I could see you going and doing a play for you.
I'd want to play a villain.
So there you go.
And I think it's because I think I'm too nice. So I feel like I want a space where I could, through this character, just be mean or be murderous or something. Like I feel like because the role I had played on Backstage, I was an undercover cop.
Okay.
Which is like very sneaky and very, because it's like you're playing a double thing. Like the viewers must be able to see the character when they're in their real self. And then they must also feel it when you are undercover because within the character, you are not yourself. So I would walk around and I'm 3 people. I'm Letitia, I'm this Mbali chick, and then I'm the cop as well, What I actually found though, I struggled to let the character go every time I go home. She would sneak back. I would find myself talking like her, and I'm talking to my husband. I probably would have had to work on that. But I found that I think I was so into getting into character, and I didn't have any specific routine. I would just get there and then I'll just, when they say action, I'll just do it. When they stop, I'll just laugh and be tish immediately. But somehow that Mbali chick would sneak in. I would call myself to order because I would answer like the cop. And I'm like, no. What I mean to say is...
so I talked to Clint Brink and he talked...
I love him on Kings of Joburg. I love him.
So he talked about how how he hangs the character, like how the character goes on like a coat hanger and hangs the character on, like a coat rack. And so he's able to create that separation. But at the same time, I mean, the thing that fascinated me, and it would you as well, since you're particularly behind the scenes person, where you're saying, while he is able to hang that character up, he gains from the experiences of the character. So the experiences of the character in a particular moment
live with him.
Become part of his experience. So it's, part of his understanding of human nature and people. So he's not holding on to it in a negative way and it's bogging him down. But he's just like, he's got this vast, like much larger library of experiences to draw from when the rest of us just have our lives.
Yeah. It's funny because that's why I was saying I'd want to play a villain. Because I'm just thinking, obviously, I'd have to research a few villains similar to the character. And because then that would give me a reason to, right? But now at the same time, I don't want to be that in my experience, my previous experiences. Like now, do I want to walk around saying, I don't give a about anything anymore? It'll give me that attitude. I'm thinking, I don't know. But it's a long time ago. So maybe I'll be a little different now. But then I went from having to stop that, which I didn't regret. That's why I could just decide. I mean, they wanted to extend my contract, and I just said, you know what? No, I was meant to be there for just 3 months, and then I was almost there 9 months because they just kept extending. And then the final contract was literally like a 2-year. Now I was in SOB. I was going to be in SOB, and I realized that as much as the storyline was interesting, I was like, gosh, I'd watch this show. I then, like I said, I made a choice. I was like, actually, it's not. I don't need to be an actress. It's not what I was going for. I enjoy doing it, but it's not make it or break it in my life. But obviously having my grandma-in-law being happy, that's a make it or break. That's, I mean, family is important to me. And then I locked in and I went more into behind the scenes, making the stories, producing, telling people stories. And I found that I enjoyed it, and I found that with that was my reason for leaving acting at the time. But with presenting, I at the time found that it was I feel I'm a private person, but once you know me now. Now you get to see the Letitia. Presenting felt like I was showing too much because now I wasn't in character. It was Letitia experiencing things that she doesn't really want to experience. Maybe it's a job now. Now I'm going there, doing things, telling stories. I don't really even have a choice in telling. It's what the producers decided. Let's take Tish. She's got the right personality for that story. And then you must wear the cap of, I'm enjoying myself. I'd come back, my shoulders would be so tense. It was just like, and then you are recognized. That was also another problem. Then you're recognized. And then when I'm at the mall, I think I come off unfriendly because I don't want someone to talk to me. I have this mask apparently. When people are like, yo, Tish, I saw you there, I thought, geez, why is she so serious? And I think it's just a defensive thing I do, But when you're on TV, nobody even reads that mask. It's like they don't see it. That, oh no, she wants to be by herself right now. And I think those things were the things that made me move away from being in front of the camera, because of just, when I was modeling, people would be like, you're pretty on the magazines. Ugh. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
there's always like a criticism or a judgment.
Or even a compliment that I feel like I don't deserve because it's not mine. So if you say then, oh, I'm pretty on the magazines, I'm like, I have so much makeup. So I wonder if, really?
It means that you now.
Do you know what I mean?
Like, what do you actually say?
I just didn't really like that part of being on screen is just the accessibility that gives everyone permission. And I think it actually, having experienced that though, I think it makes me a pleasant producer to work with, because obviously now I work with people that are on screen all the time. And I think I have the right sensitivity to telling their stories. People have asked, oh my gosh, how did you get Mamang to come onto your show? She doesn't do interviews. She doesn't what. And I'm like, I think because when I sat with them to tell them my concept and how I want to tell their story, they looked me in the eyes and probably believed me, because when you come from a family where almost everyone is a known face, I understand what struggles they have with that. So when I'm approaching someone, even if I don't know them personally, I approach them with that level of understanding that there might be certain things they maybe don't want to touch on, even if they're the same things I want to touch on. They will then trust that okay, Letitia and her team will be able to touch on these things with me in a manner that makes me comfortable.
Yeah.
Do you know? And that's what I aim for. I don't want to have a show somewhere where I know that when that person watches, they're gonna call me and say, what happened? You know, I don't want that. And I'm glad that I've never been there. And even the type of content that now that I'm running my own company, the kind of content that we decide we're going to engage is content that is celebratory or empowering. I mean, most of the time it's both. But whether we're doing a story of people that are unknown but doing incredible things, then you know that what we are saying is that watch out for these people. Assist if you can assist, or just be inspired then, if that's all you can do. You know, if you're sitting and you don't have a way, this is someone just like you and in a similar situation to you, and look what they've managed to do. And maybe you will be inspired to also stand up and do that thing. Or this is someone that we all celebrate. Here's a piece of who they really are. So celebrate them within the context of who they really are. You know, so those are the kind of content that now I engage, and I appreciate that experience, even though I was laughing about being on screen and all the different things that comes with it. But I appreciate the fact that I actually understand, you know, and I understand the people I'm showcasing from when it's a person that's never been on TV, because I've been that person before, you know, to people that are approached all the time. And maybe they even hurtful now. They just like, I don't want to do one more story. And when they're done, they like, you asked questions that never have been asked before. And I'm like, no, it's only because you were willing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just because the space was allowing, you know, then that's why you can have conversations that you feel were different.
I mean, it's recognizing that, like you're saying, firstly, there's a responsibility to it. Right?
There is.
And, you know, I worked with you on multiple productions, and it was knowing that regardless of the production, regardless of the focus, so from an Afro Cafe, which is like music, to a
making
moves, right? And a bunch in between. The one or two I won't talk about because because Ayob was talking recently about how I threatened somebody on a production.
I think I remember.
And actually that experience was because it felt like responsibility wasn't being taken, and respect wasn't being given. So there is a responsibility to what we do, regardless of space. So there's a responsibility in this. There's a responsibility in production. There's a responsibility in a live event. There's a responsibility in magazine. And we come from, and I learned a lot from you when I went into production, because I guess we come from the same kind of school and perspective. And that was a new space for me. So the medium was a new space. I mean, magazine was a new space when I went there. But yeah, and I think sometimes when I feel like the old guy is when I look at people and go, you don't understand that it's nice and you're out there. But firstly, it's a responsibility.
And that's why I enjoy working with my kids, because not only do they have the skill of doing the work, but they've got that piece of me in respecting the work. Because I've had conversations with my son where he would say, Mom, but that sounds like we're pushing just ARs and we're not going into the core of something. It's just pretty. Can we make it warm? Can we give it this? Can we give it that? And it's beautiful to see that that's what Fortune and I have created with the kids, to look at life like this. Because yes, it's in TV now, but that kind of thing you take everywhere. Because when you were speaking now, I was thinking, you took that when you did magazine. Everywhere you go, I mean, with this podcast, you're still literally right now doing the same thing in how you're talking to me.
Sure.
So you actually take it everywhere, and you probably just improve on it as you go, as you meet more people. I mean, you're blessed because you meet more people. I kind of work with the same people for a bit, and then I work with maybe a slightly new group for a little bit. But you have that opportunity of meeting different people, and you can choose what rubs off. And it just makes you even better. I'm sure when you look back at your beginning of this podcast, you're like, okay, you were great. But now when you look, you just like, even maybe in your mannerism, in how you are sitting, you probably will, when you look at the two clips, you'll just say, you were sitting a certain way that probably you read a certain way to your guest, and they sat a certain way because you sat a certain. Remember, I'm in your home right now, so I'm feeding off.
Yeah.
So you probably have kind of settled into your chair, if I should put it that way, right now, and because of the time.
Yeah.
But you're still the same guy, just improving on this guy. And I think that's the content that I do does that to me as well, because as you meet these great people, because it usually is, the case, I get inspired, not necessarily to be like them, but to be more of me. Because most people that are great kind of know to a certain level what they want, at least at that point. And I think that's what I target as well. I just want to be happy.
You absorb, but I find you absorb little things that make sense for you. So now I'm, like you said, I mean, I feel a lot more settled into this experience. I mean, although before I start, every time I'm kind of like, I don't know where we're going.
Yeah.
But like the value for me is I get to talk to people that I find interesting. But I'm finding more and more, I'm taking little bits and pieces, and I've talked about this before, like little bits and pieces of every one of you.
Yeah.
And because, I like telling stories.
Yeah.
I'm getting to the point where I'll often reference a book I've read because I read a lot and I absorb from there. But now it's like between books and guests on the podcast.
Yeah.
I can my reference will be either it'll be like, yeah, and then so and so said, like I said, and then Clint said, and then so and so said, and Tish said.
School of life.
Yeah.
The same thing you're reading in the books, in a way.
Yeah.
It's just you obviously getting it from people's perspectives and their lives,
So what are you working on now? And what's exciting you now?
Geez, everything. We just did a documentary celebrating 15 years of Mzansi Magic.
Oh, brilliant.
And, like just 5 years ago, I didn't think I'll be doing documentaries. Because as much as I'm a storyteller, I'm more of like, not really getting into the deep part of the stories. But obviously partnering with my husband, and he is an avid consumer of documentaries. I'm an action movie girl.
I won't say what was going on in my head. I'll respect my first guest for the year. I won't say what I won't say anything about said husband.
But I think the difference, of like our differences have just made us a more solid team, because I'm now such a visual, person. Because I mean, action, you really need to be following. I'm not following the story here. I'm following the visuals are taking me somewhere, and with him, it's the story. So I think the two of us meeting is just so perfect, because then we tell the story in layers, visually, and emotionally, So even if you can watch our show without the volume on, you're like, this place is nice. I wonder if it exists for real. Like there's a conversation even beyond the story. And then if you're watching the person talking, but you can't hear what they're saying, you like, and you're seeing their forehead crease or they pause, you're like, ooh. It's a visual thing, but you just like the camera zoomed in at that time. It's giving you a certain emotion, that's my side of the world. But with him, it's getting the person comfortable to tell the story and for the story to come out. And then you've set hours with a person and then you must cut it to 48 minutes. Guys, that's a skill.
Yeah. That's the ultimate skill. I mean,
That's
I don't think
a
people
skill.
realize. I don't think people realize the importance of that. I mean, I was watching a clip the other day of Denzel Washington, and I think he was being asked why he goes to, like, why he still acts on the stage. And he was like, on stage, you learn about acting. Film is a director's medium.
Yeah.
Because the director, with the editor, decides what ends up on the cutting floor.
Yeah.
Regardless of how great you thought your performance was.
Yeah.
I think somebody said, you could have been giving what you consider your greatest performance, and they've zoomed in on your shoe because that was the shot.
Yeah, you saw it's like that is so true. That is so true. But I love that visual medium. I feel like it's sometimes taken for granted because people rely on the spoken word. But I do feel that your eyes also help tell the story.
But do you feel that, I mean, because yes, there is that, but we're now in a world where everything's about video, right? So a podcast or whatever, everybody's like, no, you have to do video, you have to do video, you have to do video. To a certain extent, it's diluted our idea of what television was. Because it's actually not television anymore, it's just video.
It's just video, yeah.
Because you're going to watch on different mediums. How have you found that transition? Like, does it scare you, excite you, bother you? How have you found navigating that?
I'm okay with having more platforms to watch from. I living in South Africa, I still feel that most South Africans do watch content through TV. Accessibility is still a problem in terms of consuming on the small screen. So we still have to give it that respect anyway. What I love about what the online platform has done is that it has loosened how we tell stories. We realize we don't have to be pretty neat and in a box per se, which has allowed for stories to be told more in depth. Because sometimes when you don't brush it, it's actually more relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And TV used to be like the perfect thing. Perfect. Only pretty people are on TV, only people with certain voices are on TV, only people with certain shade of skin are on TV. And the online platforms have helped us see that it's actually characters on TV. That's what we should be going for instead of looks, because we're now chasing the whole thing of authenticity because of the pressure. I found that now telling television stories, we've had to also kind of be schooled, if I should put it that way. Be schooled that, yes, we still are within a certain frame of work, but we now have to include that relatability, the honesty in a story a little bit more, even though it is still a little structured. So I welcome it. I don't, and then keeping in mind that for me, I just feel like what it's done, and hopefully even broadcasters will see that, like local broadcasters will see that in the future, is that even though we do this content, like I said, you shoot with someone a whole day and then you cut that thing to 48 minutes, all that other content could live in so many other platforms. And I think if there was a way for them to see that, I don't know, to maybe they're feeling they can't monetize right now if it's living too many platforms because they want the eyeballs to come to their screens, which is unfortunate for now that they also have blocked themselves in there as the big broadcasters, you know. But there's so much opportunity, and I think it's not the small screen or you know, overtaking, but it's there's an opportunity to kind of align the two. You know, you catch the 48-minute here, and then you can catch 5 15-minuters elsewhere of something you've never seen. Back in the days, we used to get excited when we hear, oh, now they're going to play a director's cut just once off somewhere, you know, because obviously it's the stuff we didn't see in the final movie that came out, you know. But that still exists, unfortunately. That's what I'm saying now. Like I'm spending 3 days with a phenomenal woman, and I'm gonna show 48 minutes on TV. I had access to their family. I had access to people that helped them become the people they are. I had all those things. And sometimes I feel like, oh my gosh, we could do like 2-hour documentaries on these people with what they give, you know. And it's unfortunate that sometimes you have to sit that long time to get it's like being a photographer, to get the one good moment, you know? And it's the same with storytelling. You sometimes have to sit the 2 hours to get the good 30-minute nuggets.
I'm looking forward to seeing what's coming next.
Yeah.
Oh, what a wife and hubby.
Well,
Creative.
wife and hubby. It's a very memorable name.
Yeah. I think it's
everywhere we go, it's like hubby and wife and hubby. What's going on? I'm like, no, wife, hubby. It is exactly what it is. So the kids are like, and kids. They're like, when are you adding and kids? And I was like, no, don't, guys, you don't see. It's wife and hubby. It'll continue to be wife and hubby because you guys are going to get married, right? So you still be a wife or a hubby. So it's fine. You guys are young now. You are climbing the ladder. As you climb the ladder of life, you will fall into the wife and hubby name. It's funny because even when sometimes we're doing our pre-interviews and people just think, oh, when you said wife and hubby, we just thought everybody in the around the room is married. It's such a conversational starter that I love it, you know. But it was Fortune's idea. And when he said it, he was like, I mean, because it's here now. So I was like, it's wife and hubby, but it's your space, so we'll lead with the wife.
That's very mature of him.
Yeah, sometimes.
He has his moments. Tish, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. This was pleasant. It just felt like I just caught up with you, actually.
Yeah, that was the purpose.
And we hadn't done that in such a long time.
Thank you for listening to this conversation. Please leave a review and subscribe. Check out the show notes for links to the guest, the podcast, and myself. I hope you enjoyed listening to the conversation as much as I enjoyed having it.